Welcome, everyone, to the newest episode of the Polynesian podcast, sponsored, as always, by Livasa Island Apparel, online, livasaislandapparel.com, in person at the 4 Days of Aloha Fest, Vancouver, Washington, this July. So definitely get your tickets and make sure to get out there, cop your merch, support when Livasa returns to the Pacific Northwest. I'm Lance Valentino. Morris, how you doing?
Man, you know me, man. I'm Steve. I'm being a bum right now. I'm in the my papers are being processed for this new job, so I've been at home. Kind of like how Marcus and uh Seth were talking
Hey,
about Marcus being at home. So
new
um s-
jobs.
yeah, so I've been spending the last week at home with my parents, whom I actually moved up here to be with for a little bit. So it's been cool, just taking them around to run their errands and yeah, I mean, just chilling, really. I mean, if y'all want to see me on Call of Duty multiplayer,
do
you know what I mean? I'm pretty good at that.
you do you have any sports games?
I do. I play Madden.
You have
I'm not great, but yeah, Madden 24. Yeah, man.
the newest Madden? Yeah, I'm
Oh
down.
man, that's funny. You have your phone with you?
Yeah.
That's what I. Oh, here, I'm gonna text you something, man. Let me see if I saved it. I
Um.
totally forgot to text you, but I'm gonna save it. Send it to you, and then you can have a live reaction on camera.
Uh. I
Oh
want to try
no!
to do a. Are you gonna get the new
Oh, for
NCAA
sure. That's
uh
already that's
pre-ordered on the
yep,
catalog in the cart,
yep,
ready to
yep,
go?
yep,
Damn, July 19th, I think it is. We got a bunch of
yeah.
guys ready to go. But I'm trying to see. It's like Luke, Clay, a bunch of other guys. But we were talking about like, are we going to open it up to even more people? So like, we could do like a mega freaking college franchise. I got
Oh,
the.
that'd be dope. That'd be.
Oh, what is this? You played this? You played versus the Chargers using the
I did.
Raiders, and
I
you're up.
did.
Damn, you're up 63-27 in the fourth quarter.
It,
Why is
Aiden,
there
no,
13 minutes on the clock?
that's how you play with regular time. What are you
Are you
talking
playing
about?
15-minute quarters?
Hell yeah, it's like a beat your
Oh
team like
my
that.
god. I did that the night of the game where we lost to Jacksonville, where Jacksonville came back by 24, 27 points. I went and beat them by like 100 on Madden. Thank goodness. That was crazy. Man, the schedule release where the Chargers and the Raiders are playing week 1 and week 18. Week 1 in Los Angeles, week 18, the last week of the
Man,
season in Vegas.
that, that week 18 game looks to me, man, it might be like a flex game because it's so late out there.
Oof,
But then it
yeah.
counts.
Sunday night
It,
football. Let's go.
it depends because of the conference. Like it's also tight in the West. That game might actually count. So we'll see. But that's looking like
Exciting.
yeah, I know it's looking like it might be a flex game.
I mean,
So
and if it is an important game where it like comes down to the wire and you need to win this one, or the Chargers need to win this one, or it's like a win and get in for either team, it's advantage Raiders because it's going to be in Vegas. George hit me up. He was like, "We should go to a game. How about
man,
this
we
last
should
week, bro? We should
we
set it up.
should.
Let's go celebrate the end of the 2024 season
It'll it'll definitely
in
be our
Vegas."
advantage because we'll have the home game in Vegas. We'll be up 1-0 in the series. So I mean, double advantage.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Any news from Raider camp or schedule reaction for anything?
Oh yeah, man, just great news. Everything great. Players are healthy. Players are healthy. Gardner Minshew and Aiden McConnell both look like Patrick Mahomes in practice. So we have the best tight end room in the league right now. Not to mention one of the best wide
True,
receiver
true, true, true.
rooms in the league. O line is coming together. I mean, they've hired a couple guys on the O line. So I know you were worried about your O line, but I think the Chargers O line uh, seems a little bit more on the up and up right now because they got two bookends that can really play the game. So Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt are going to be
From
amazing playing together. Notre Dame, baby. That's what we do. We put out linemen and people who graduate on time. That's what we do. So yeah. Um, but the O line's coming together. They picked up a couple pieces. I don't know if people know who Andrews Pete is, but he was an offensive tackle out of Stanford a few years ago. First round pick, in fact. He's been with the Saints most of his career, or all of his career, I think. And they picked him up. I'm not sure he's going to be a starter because they look like they're kind of settled on both ends, but he could pop in at like either guard spot just in case. So the O line's coming together again. The big signing of Christian Wilkins uh, in the offseason. That's really one of the better signings in the league. I know a lot of people think the Raiders overpaid, but he is most likely the number one defensive tackle in the league after that dude in LA retired. You know, he was kind of good.
yeah.
I think his last name was
You'd
Donald.
have him above Chris Jones from Kansas City.
I do. I do. Uh, I think because Chris Jones is more of a, I think he's more of a pass rusher, but Christian Wilkins, I think, is a true defensive tackle. You know, he plugs up the lane. He demands double teams. And he does pass rush the passer as well. So I think he's a complete defensive tackle. So
You hear that, Chris Jones?
yeah, Chris Jones, you suck.
No, I understand. Definitely when the Raiders signed Christian Wilkins, I wasn't even worried about the numbers or the money about it. I was just thinking that's a
It's a
great piece.
pairing.
Definitely
Yeah,
pairing with Max Crosby, and you
right,
have
right.
two elite defensive linemen to that play at like with some tenacity and also talk a lot of shit, both of them. And it's like get into people's heads and like shove Patrick Mahomes a little bit and like mess with his mental. And I feel like that has the potential to be a really great signing and definitely even if it was a big contract, worth it. If not, being a value deal, the way that he's going to demand, Christian Wilkins is going to demand attention in the middle, freeing up Max Crosby.
Yeah,
Uh, who's the rookie defensive
for
end that you guys got a while? Was it two
uh
years ago?
Tyree Wilson a year ago. He was a rookie last year. He's coming on. So the good thing about him is his versatility. He's like a hybrid because they play him inside too. He's not one of those big 290, 300, 310 guys. I think he's in at like maybe 270 at the most or 280 maybe at the heaviest. But what he is he's lengthy, he's tall, and he can play both inside and out. So he's like a one of those quick, twitchy defensive ends on the inside. Not quite Aaron Donald, of course, but uh, obviously because his height and everything. But the length he has in his arms that helps him, push through in the middle and just keep guys at length. But the fact that he can go from the inside to the out or the outside to the inside, I'm sorry, because he probably would start better on the outside, uh, is big for them. And the way he's wanted to come into this offseason and just take his cue from Max Crosby and try to learn anything from him. He's shadowed Max Crosby this whole offseason. He's asked Max Crosby to put him into all the workouts that Max Crosby does. So it's pretty cool. And then you have also Malcolm Kuntz who came on last year. I think he had eight or 10 sacks if I'm not correct. So his emergence is big as well because that's you know a full defensive line, which is cool. And Adam Butler, who didn't do pretty bad last year either at the other tackle spots. So yeah, that front line right now is a really exciting point for the team, which is cool. They're not quite settled at in the defensive backfield at like corner. The two safeties they're gonna rock with last year. They're getting better, so they're cool at that. And they really like Spillane and Divine Diablo. So
Lane, man, but yeah, both of those guys, motor underrated.
yeah. So I mean,
Look at the
it'll be cool
Raiders over here
to go
passing
against
on
you
a
guys.
quarterback to get everything else together.
Try to put your mouse to give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be interesting. I mean, we get to play again, our division, everybody in that division twice. We also get to play the Steelers that I know of. I didn't really quite look at the schedule yet online, but Steelers is who I'm looking at. But
AFC North, NFC
yeah,
South.
yeah. So it'll be pretty good games. But again, like as we were talking, man, because the Chargers is always fun. The Chargers and the Chiefs and the Steelers are the biggest rivalries for me. I would say the Battle of the Bay, but we don't play San Francisco enough. But when they do play, it's a really big game. But those three teams are who I'm always excited to play every year because I know it's almost an every year thing. So the Chargers, because again, we just talked about their O line. They're getting help for Herbert. Especially in the backfield, they really bulked up that backfield with Gus Edwards and who's the other Raven that you guys saw?
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins, who are two good backs who just had really, really strings of bad luck the past 2 years with injuries. So but they're really two great backs. I think Quentin Johnson is gonna make a leap. He's gonna be a little better this season a lot better than he was last season because he was a little underwhelming last season. And you guys re-signed Mac, took a pay cut as well as the racist brother.
Whoa. Of the two, I think we know which one is the racist brother.
Yeah.
No.
But Bosa, kept Bosa. And so the Chargers it's always going to be a fun game. I mean, yeah, so great. And again, we're in the division with the defending champion. So
back to back on them. All right. What else do we got? We need to talk about New Caledonia.
Man, that's crazy.
What is happening there? The French sending over security forces and thousands of cops.
It's funny because a lot of the Pacific Islands, they have natural resources that and some of these islands have we'll say parent countries, as New Caledonia is in French Polynesia. So
territory, right? French territory.
They're French territory. So right now, the nickel deposits in New Caledonia are pretty rich, and the French have given permission for people to come and mine the nickel in New Caledonia, supposedly to help with environmental stuff. It's supposed to be helping the world, but we all know
the French sell it for batteries and stuff.
Exactly. So we all know that the French they have to be getting a pretty good amount of money for allowing companies to go in and mine the nickel. And I imagine what that's all about. And that's crazy because that's not only I get it could go to help the world. I mean, maybe just not by making batteries, but it can help with a lot of things. But also, you're stealing natural resources from an island who probably needs it. It's a smaller island compared to France. It's in Polynesia. The environmental concerns of you coming into mining stuff like that, is probably big. So
it's definitely messing with the land.
Yeah,
right? I mean, it's there. I mean, also, if someone's going to get paid for the nickel in
New Caledonia,
should it be the Kanak people?
Right.
Man, that are out there protesting and the forces coming in and shooting at them and it's crazy. What?
Nothing new to the South Pacific region.
Damn, yeah.
We were in Papua, and Papua's been in a civil war for the past, I can't tell you how many years, but Indonesia is I don't know if they're the ruling government there, but they're a big presence in New Cal, and what they do there is they mine gold. There's gold mines there and other natural resources. And Indonesia has been in there, and they've taken over like a whole region of Papua, and they've been just like pretty much genocide for a lot of the villages. They've like killed off villages of people
Oh
just
my
to
goodness.
steal and mine gold, and that's why they have um gorillas. And for folks who don't know this, there are two types of gorillas: the ones that spelled with the G-O and the G-U. We're talking about the ones with the G-U, which are
Guerrilla
I guess
fighters.
right. I guess you would
And
liken
not
them to
Godzilla's
the
opponent in the
right.
latest movie.
Please, there's no Godzilla is not in Papua. But yeah, there. I guess I would liken them to the militia forces during the wars here in America back in the day. So yeah, nothing new. I mean, you also have other countries uh lending out money to smaller countries in the South Pacific, as China and APIA are locked in a relationship in that way. I'm pretty sure APIA has borrowed money from them and now owes them money. And what better way to pay off your debt than by either loaning out land or giving out land to this country?
Yeah. I feel like geopolitically, China might be making the better move than America. Like America has always been like, you come to us, you use
Yeah,
the dollar, you make products for us, we'll import stuff from y'all. Like
right,
we're gonna be the engine of the world, but you basically got to come through America, convert your stuff to dollars, and kiss the ring while you're here.
right,
But China's like
exactly. China's like,
spreading out,
nah,
using their resources to kind of spread out and go
yep,
throughout different places, different regions. Now, I think that's something that another reason why France is so big on upholding their control over New Caledonia is because they're losing like a foothold to other countries.
yeah,
But again, there's also like loyalist French people that move down there, like you said, to do the mining and stuff, and like basically take that to make wealth for themselves or for France. Um, that are backing this new law that got signed in by French lawmakers that really increased the number of French people in New Caledonia that could start voting. Um, and the Kanak people, the indigenous people of New Caledonia, um, seeing that as like taking away the strength of their vote, like bringing in a lot of people from the opposition and kind of flooding them in with French nationalists or loyalists, which is why once that law was passed without much, information or talking with the indigenous people of the land and just putting a rule on them, they started protesting. And then we're getting riots, we're getting police forces sent down with weapons, we're getting people shot. And unfortunately, yeah, like more than 5 people have passed away. Some of them, yeah. So definitely, and seeing the videos coming out, I think they banned TikTok and certain. They locked down the airport so people can't get out. New Zealand and Australia had to send planes to get
yeah. They have
their
to send charter
nationals off of the
flights.
island.
Yep, there's tourists. Countries are sending their
Ew.
own flights to get their people out who are there for vacation or whatever. Because New Caledonia also it's beautiful out there in French Polynesia. So I'm sure there's a ton of tourists
Oh,
out there.
tourists, yeah.
Yeah. So
What do you think about this? And what is like I don't know. How do you stop? Like, how do you unterritory a territory is one thing. Like, should it just be given back to the people that live there? And France, that's almost 18,000 kilometers on the other side of the earth,
right
should
somewhere else.
just stick with France? Or are they like, no, we put so much money into you over the last 170 years, annexed in 1853? Like, I mean, that brings up a lot of questions. But what do you think about all that's going on, and how do you think that might end or
I mean,
get better?
definitely. I mean, if the country itself, if they're able to sustain their own, if they can establish sustainability without France, then definitely, because there are people lesser people there who lesser people, sorry, less fortunate people who probably need the help from France. Maybe they need it, but yeah, if they can have their own sustainability, then definitely they should have their own uh their country back. Their independence. Samoa was able to do it at one time. And they're the independent state of Samoa. They took their independence back. I want to say it was Germany they took it from. Um, yeah, just that would be the best for everything. I mean, France is, like you said, on the whole other side of the continent. But again, it's going to be hard because, of course, every country, like Hawaii, should Hawaii be giving back their independence? Of course, you know. Yeah. So like, it's always a
Yes.
no brainer. Yeah, right. It's a no brainer when people ask that. Like, yeah, of course they should be giving their independence back. But it's going to be tough because the money that comes in for the bigger country is always going to outweigh the needs and the wants of the people from the original country. Like France, of course, isn't going to give up their cash cow if they're really getting money from them, especially with the natural resources that they're about to mine from over there. There's no way they're going to give up their power for that. So, but I do definitely think they should be given their independence and be able to break away from France.
I feel like it's so muddy, like the same way it is for American Samoa. It's like people are like, we need to be our own thing, and then other people are like, how are we going to survive out here without federal funding?
Right.
Like,
Right.
how are we going to get the medical attention we don't? Yo, LBJ. Oh my God, what are you doing? What is happening? I just hear horror stories. Anytime I talk to somebody coming out of that area code, it's like, yeah, we're up here because we're having a baby. I was like, why did you have a baby at home? It's like, oh, we don't want to risk it. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing up
I
here? Oh, my parents are up here. We're getting checked out, doing appointments.
I mean, I get it, especially with like baby birth, but at the same time, there's been a bunch of people who had babies back home, so I get that you come out here for that safety, but I mean, again, I'd hate to say anything because me and you haven't been back home in a while, so I can't be like, no, it's totally safe. Kids have been born there, but
No, yeah, no, I'm sure they're doing, still functioning as a
yeah,
hospital. I just like
no, and that's the thing. So
they
people
need
are,
so much more.
right. People are saying like, oh no, we need the government so we can have, the funding to survive, but yet the funding that goes home and you're still not able to have a fully functioning hospital. So I mean, maybe it's not the money that's coming in, maybe it's the people that are in charge of the money that's coming in. So
Message.
right. There definitely needs to be a change. And it sucks because you look at the people who are running for office right now, and it's almost like a recycling of people, kind of like the presidency. But
Oh my gosh.
and so yeah, that's super discouraging. And being proud from being back home, it's tough to see, but I'm pretty sure it's even tougher for people who are living on the island
Mhm.
who have to cipher out who they're gonna vote for, who they're gonna get the best at, like which devil is the best to put in there, the devil or you're gonna take a chance with
Uh,
the devil you don't. So
lesser of two evils.
right, I mean, and you got to figure that out on the fly. And
I'm starting
I
to
think
hate this freaking voting system we have.
right, and it's tough because you also have a lot of like reps and senators, and where they can do a lot of good from that point. But even those guys aren't doing good. You've got a lot of young people who are running for office, a lot of new people, and I think maybe it's time to give them a chance. Samoa is another place of tradition, and uh, as much as it shouldn't be, it's also part of our politics. So a lot of the guys that are still like the older people that are still reps and senators, it's because families keep them in those offices because they've been there forever, and it's a family thing. Like a lot of people get together and just like, yo, our family's voting for this person because of this and this and this. That's tough. That's it's no way to run a democracy because it still sounds like a dictatorship. So
I mean, it's
yeah,
just populist. It's
yeah,
just,
yeah. So I mean,
is it high school?
Oh God.
Who's the most popular at your section?
That's tough. I mean,
Um,
if that's the case, then they should just like whatever high school you went to. You know what I mean? If you didn't win the football championship that year, you can't run.
yeah. Yeah, we complain a lot, but yeah, we just
For
want
sure.
better.
What
We want up
right?
to standard, like whether it be at home for a hospital or in New Caledonia for like leaving indigenous people alone and not freaking coming down and sending police after them and security
Right.
forces. Like we just want to be left alone and not treated like terrible.
Imagine how
Jeez.
crazy that feels to live in your own country and then to have people from another country come to police you. That's like
Yeah.
what?
The police aren't even from this neighborhood. They're from a whole different country. They're from a whole
Right.
different hemisphere. And definitely we know like sending out big groups like that is to quell an uprising or just to like whatever the reason behind it, whether it be national powers,
It's to keep people down.
money, uh,
It's, it's a
status
scare tactic.
quo.
You can say it, Lance.
We
It's a
want better.
scare tactic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what Lance is trying to say is that as much as it sounds like we're complaining, we also want to be part of the solution. So if you guys do have anything going that we can help with and be a part of that to help with New Caledonia, Papua New Guinea, the crisis at the hospital in American Samoa, or anything that has to do with in the South Pacific or with our people out here in the mainland, let us know. We definitely want to be part of the solution and not just one of those people that come out here and talk about the issues and have no solutions to it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think definitely spreading some light on it because I know this isn't getting, I feel like, as a lot of coverage. And I don't know if it's just because it's France doing it or I don't know. It's weird. But definitely, yeah, prayers and freaking, we got to figure out what needs to be done to make sure that stops. All right. Back to back to sports.
Oh man, are you gonna talk about the Lakers not being in the playoffs?
I was going to talk about the playoffs. Yeah. So Lakers and Bulls hanging out. We're Cancuning it. We're chilling. Who is Game 7? The Timberwolves beat the Nuggets. The Nuggets are out. The Pacers have advanced to face the Celtics in the East, and the Timberwolves are going to face the Mavs.
Hey, you got to give it up to Ed, man. He talked the whole big game, and he came out and he proved it. He carried his team to the conference finals. A lot of us laughed at the pairing of Gobert and Cat. I was one of them, but it's working out. It's working out. I still think that Gobert is garbage. We are not a friend of Gobert on the show.
Garbage.
Yeah, not the COVID guy, not him. I do applaud him for taking the game off and going to see the birth of his first child. I give him that for missing a playoff game. Um, yeah, we had Gilbert Arenas go on the show and say, why would he do that? Like, the child's still going to be there when he gets there. Well, okay, God, what if he's not? Like, yeah, Gilbert Arenas is another clown who decided to pick up a mic and give his expert opinion on things when he's garbage. But yeah, back to real sports. Man, Timberwolves they are the greedy team that I thought the New York Knicks were going to be in the playoffs. They fight for everything, every rebound, every bucket. They go hard, and they got a leader in Ant who isn't afraid. And I think that's what's making the difference right now for them and how they got past the Nuggets. So, I mean, the Nuggets are the Nuggets. They were still good because they were able to come back from a 2-game deficit in the playoffs, and the series went to 7. So, yeah, Jokic still a great player. According to Javal Murray, he's a little banged up, which is why Adams was able to lock him up. I mean, okay, if that's your story, but yeah, Adams held him to 11 points in the second half of that last game, which made a big difference. So, great to see them, man. I love it. That matchup is gonna be crazy. I fully expect it to go to a game 7. That's gonna be a really good matchup. Love to see it. Love to see it.
The Timberwolves and the Mavericks.
Yeah, I love to see it, man. Kyrie, I saw one of my friends tweeted today. He said, "Thank God, it's great to see people talking about Kyrie as a basketball player again." Man, and I couldn't have said it better.
True, true.
Man, he's so amazing on that court. I know they have Luka, and Luka's the star of that team, but they're not getting there without Kyrie because Kyrie is, man, he's playing ball right now. Uh, he's always been top 5 for me, point guards in the league. Even when people were like, he had the Ramadan thing, he had stuff about the film that he was supporting that was anti-Semitic, and then just a lot of controversy around him because he's one of those guys that he speaks his mind, and that's not always going to go well, especially if you're a celebrity. But the way he's been just on the court, the way he's been putting it out on the court, just unbelievable, man. We're all getting to witness Kyrie, so be great again, or be great, and people are recognizing it again. Not again because he's always been great, even through the controversy. So, and again, you got Luka, Derek Lively. When I first saw him on camera, like I was watching the game and he stepped on the court. That's a big dude, man. Like I know he's like maybe a little skinnier, but imagine him and Chet together. If those guys had picked up Derek Lively, because they had a chance to draft Derek Lively, and if they would have paired him in OKC with Chet, that would have been pretty crazy. Because he's more of a pure post up player, big, a big inside. I think that might have made a difference for OKC, put them into the conference finals. So it's gonna be nice to see. Their lineup is a little smaller though. I think their starting lineup, they're a little smaller than the Pacers. The Pacers they have what's his name in the middle? Center that shoots threes from Texas. Why can't I remember his first name? I know you know it, Lex. What's his first name?
No, I do not.
For the Pacers? Oh my God.
I can look it up.
Okay. They have him. Gosh. The only person I can really say his name is Halliburton.
Halliburton.
Who showed up in that last game. I think he hit 5 threes in that game to carry them over the Knicks. I really thought the Knicks were gonna, but that's tough when Brunson fractured his hand during the game, so he was already hobbling on a bad leg. Then fractures his hand during the game. So what I do like is the playoffs are exciting again. Like it's cool not to see the regular teams in there again. I know a lot of their fans wanted them in Denver, the Lakers, teams like that. Miami's not there, they didn't make it too far. It was cool to see the Cavs. They tried to mix. Now there's speculation that Spider might not stay in Cleveland. So talks of PG leaving. Actually, no, talks of PG staying in LA with the Clippers. So, besides just the playoffs going on, there's a lot of free agency rumors going on during this playoff time. Yep. Everybody already trying to get into position for next season, which is cool. But who do you got coming out of the West?
And oh man, games? I feel like I'm not adequately equipped to answer that because like I feel like I don't watch basketball close enough like that.
Who do you want to come out of the West?
Oh man, definitely the Timberwolves. Ant, I feel like is a beaming star in the league and like must watch television on and off the court, like from his like bringing the ball down or like having an interview post game, or even if it's like one of his commercials. Definitely the Timberwolves coming out of the West, but also Luka and Kyrie might be, the guys that have kind of paid their dues and kind of earned this opportunity and might be a little bit more savvy and edge out some wins over the young guys that are, kind of on fire. They're like hot. They're maybe a little too close to the sun. So I actually would have the Mavs over. Like if I was betting on this, I'd pick the Mavs.
Nice.
But definitely feel like the Timberwolves would be more entertaining. For the Eastern Conference, what do you got? Like, do the Pacers not have a shot? Is this definitely?
No.
But people are talking about the Celtics it being like having so much pressure on because this is like a walk into the NBA Finals. What
Wow.
what what is that? Are the Celtics that good? Are the Pacers not that? Are they bad or something?
Motherfucking Miles Turner. That's his
Miles
fucking
Turner.
name.
I was gonna say Miles Turner, but he shoots threes.
He does.
Damn.
He does.
Okay. Defensive
Yeah.
stopper, rim protector,
Yeah.
jammer, and can hit threes. That's
Yeah.
nice.
So I don't know. I mean, I get it because definitely on paper the Celtics have a much better roster. And they're just more talented. Just having Jaylen Brown and of course wow, Jason Tatum. Definitely Jason Tatum and just him and Jaylen Brown alone on the team. That's star power. I know that's a lot of where those comments are coming from. For the Celtics having a cakewalk into the playoffs, but they also have a supporting cast there, like the local kid from Oregon, Peyton Pritchard. He's really good. You know, in the minutes, probably get him some more minutes. He's doing really good. The newly bald, weird looking dude. What's his name? What is the? They have another guard on the team. Oh my god,
Eric White.
Yeah. Yeah, super
Killing
weird
it.
to see him. Yeah, he's killing it. Playing good. You know, they've got the
Aerodynamic.
oh my gosh. Because he looked really weird with the hair. But
Super bald. I was
yeah,
like,
they've
that
got
shit ain't tan out by now. You had like a whole season.
that's what he's been indoors. He's in Boston, man. It's cold out there.
Beanie gang. Yeah.
But no,
NBA Finals. I'm ready for
I
it.
think I think the Pacers they have a chance, especially with Halliburton. He was a little slow coming out of the gate during the beginning of the playoffs, but I think he's hit a stride. So I think he's ready to go. A young star in the league. He plays both on the offense and defensive side of the ball. So I'm happy. I'm excited to see him. They got guys like Miles Turner. Why do I keep? I want to say OG Anunoby, but that's not
Obi Toppin.
They got Toppin, but the
Pascal
Siakam. That's who they got from the Raptors. So yeah, that's a quality lineup.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a quality lineup. You know, so
we're just gonna see over 7 games.
Right. I think you got the again, like you said about the East and the West teams, the cool and savvy veterans on Boston. You know, more established team. They've always been ranked at the top of the league, especially on the East side. So you know, and this isn't new to them. They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals, especially like that team together. You know, they've got a little bit of a continuity on that roster. And then Indiana, the younger team coming in, they're probably a little bit more athletic. Like we just talked about Siakam and Obi Toppin, Halliburton, super athletic. Those 3 dudes are crazy athletic. Toppin can jump out of the gym, which helps him. You know,
dunk contest.
Yeah, he was a contestant.
Contestant.
Yeah. He tries to handle the ball too much for me when he's like, give up the ball.
Bro, just cut and jump.
Right. That's like saying. I understand. I understand, man. You've been able to handle the ball like in college, but you know, come on.
There's better people for that here.
Right.
We got the best people in the world here.
Right.
You don't need to be doing that.
Halliburton is a form guy. Give it back to him. Come on.
Nice.
So yeah. And then Siakam was the guy that they got because they thought he was the one that's going to take him to help them further their journey into the playoffs. And
so here's that time.
Right.
This is time to show it. Going up against the Celtics. So who do you? I mean, are we talking ourselves into the Pacers winning this, or do the Celtics?
No. No, there's no way Celtics win.
How many games do you give them?
You know what? It's not a sweep. I like 6 for them, not a whole 7. I like 6. I think the Pacers have 2 in them, so I like them in 6. I like the West Series going in 7 to the Mavericks.
Timberwolves and Pacers coming off Game 7, highs against the Nuggets, defending champions, and the freaking New York Knicks that eventually got too banged up. Going up against some more kind of vetty teams. So interesting to see that. So you got Celtics coming out in 6. I'll say Mavericks, and I wanted to go 7. Yeah, let's go 7. That's great TV. All right, yeah, we'll check back in with that. Before we do shout outs, WNBA got a bunch of plane trips confirmed, right? Because we were talking about the charter flights. I thought this was set. And everyone gets charter flights, but
what had happened was they only offered it, and this isn't Delta now. This was the league that was just like, we're just gonna give it to a few teams and whatever. But then everybody found out that, and people started complaining, which is great to see, because that just means that a lot more people are watching the league, a lot more people are interested in what's going on, and so everybody started to complain, not just the players. And now that that's happened, the league has extended the charter flights to all teams, and then the city of Las Vegas, out of the goodness of their heart, because the Aces have won them 2 championships, decided to come together as a city and gift the Aces players $100,000 each.
That's not like a tourism contract or something?
Yeah. All they have to do is win games. And if they win another championship, great. But what they're supposed to do is go back on the court, play the way they've been playing, be great, represent Las Vegas the way they've always been representing them. And that's their contract. And they get paid $100,000. So look, Kate Martin went to the NBA draft to support Caitlin Clark. No idea in her head that she was going to get drafted. Showed up that night to hang out with Caitlin Clark. Ended up getting drafted by the Las Vegas Aces. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not only does she the surprise draft, she gets drafted, she makes the team now. Her contract is Kate Martin. She's really great. She can play ball, but she's not Caitlin Clark, and we all know Caitlin Clark's contract was $300,000 in the range. Was it 4 years? Yeah. So imagine that, a star player, number 1 draft pick, 3 years, 4 years, about 300, a little bit over $300,000. So imagine what Kate Martin's making. She didn't know she was going to get drafted that night, right? So she gets that. But now she gets $100,000. And what does the league do? They put the Las Vegas Aces under investigation because they can't help to pay the team more. They awarded them with an investigation into why they would be getting this money. That's crazy. It doesn't seem like it.
I'll look up the league reasoning, but I think they're talking about, it could be seen as like subverting the salary cap. So you're paying Aces players $100,000 more than
other teams can.
Yeah, but the Coach Hammond was like, we have nothing to do with it. It's a private deal between the company and the individual players. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it.
Right. It's pretty much the way people are going to understand it these days. It's pretty much like a college NIL deal with the players and the city. So just crazy to think that, like, the women on that team alone, back-to-back championships. They got Asia Wilson, who's just beloved everywhere you go, growing the game. Chelsea Gray, who's on the same team there. She's well loved, well represented too around the league, always speaking up for women. Kelsey Plum, just Alicia Clark, just women who are all about the league, trying to grow the league, and what the league's doing is just kind of like trying to set them back a little bit. I mean, $100,000 for those women is a lot of money. Again, if it was an NBA team, I don't think anybody would have batted an eyelash because it's like, oh, $100,000 for an NBA player. But that's a lot of money for these girls in the league, especially for players like Kate Martin entering the league, just starting her career, you know, who deserves to be getting paid like that. So I think it's great that the city of Las Vegas did that for them. I hope the investigation comes up
You just need
inconclusive or negative.
every city
Right,
to do the
right.
same, to like
And that
invest
was
in your
that,
players.
and that would be great. I know there's small markets who maybe can't give other women $100,000 who are playing for their professional team, but yeah, maybe every team should, every city should look into a sponsorship like that for their team and offer their players that money too. It would be great.
Do you think if there's a small market team that can't do it, then that means that everyone shouldn't do it?
Yeah. Uh, Sorry, what was that?
Do you think if a small market team can't do it, then everybody shouldn't do it?
No, I don't. I think if it's a small market team, they should still offer something. They don't have to offer $100,000. You know what I mean? I think there should be a pack that they can afford to give these players.
Yeah.
Because look, these women are gonna accept it, and it's gonna be, you know what I mean? You offer these women like maybe even $10,000 more, they're gonna be excited to take it. Of course, that's crazy. Like, so if a city could do that, that's good. That's money they probably need. You know, look, there's not enough teams to have all these. There's so many talented players right now that are getting cut from teams, not because they can't play, but because maybe there's another player who's like,
Contract just signed.
yeah, or like, trying to have somebody new. Yeah, so yeah, you know what I mean? Just it's gonna be, it's sad to see some of these players um not being able to get onto a team just because there's no room for them, not because they can't play, but because
Yeah.
there's no room. So even so, the Las Vegas Aces has signed someone. I was just reading about it. They signed a woman to play for them because the league accepted their exemption because they have a bunch of hurt players. I don't know if it's the Aces. It might be Chicago. But the league said that they can sign one extra player uh, until their regular roster is back to health. So what's going to happen is, if the regular players come back, they're going to cut this poor woman who they can hire. I know she's probably grateful to be playing in the time she's playing, but if she plays good enough, then somebody else is going to get cut. Either way, someone loses a job. So, that's crazy. That has to happen. I know there's a lot of things that has to happen. More teams. Thank God we're having a Bay Area team. The Valkyries. That's gonna be nice, a nice addition. I remember Portland used to have a team. I think Portland should have another team. That'd be great to see Portland have another team. A lot of cities. I think a lot of cities should be getting teams. So hopefully things change. And the
Pay them.
WNBA,
Pay them.
man,
That
yeah,
$100,000 is only 1.2, 1.5 million for a total team for 1 year. Like you
yeah,
can you got that. That's in small budgets too.
yeah.
Like there's plenty
And
of
the
money.
market is great. I mean, look,
Going up. It's going up.
again, go pay for
Get
that
in.
league pass. I paid $35. I already watch as much women's basketball as I can, but now I'm just really watching women's basketball. You know what I mean? Like,
Nice.
yeah. So, like, I use the passes. Just, man, it's great to see them play. I love it. Again, we didn't talk about it. We're already into like how many games of the season, but Elisa Beasley just making the roster is an accomplishment. Again, because we just talked about how much room there is for even though she was drafted top 10, it wasn't guaranteed that she was going to make the team. It wasn't even guaranteed that Camila Cardoso, Cameron Brink, their contracts weren't guaranteed either, even though they're very highly touted coming up in college. So the fact that Elisa Beasley, who is of Native Alaskan and Samoan ancestry descendants, she made the team. That's crazy. Like, we all know she's great, but for her to go into the league, and I seen her hit her first three the other night, which was crazy. right in the corner, and that's what she does. She can do that consistently. Man, exciting to see. I love it.
Nice. That is yeah, that's what we got for this episode and this week. Any shout outs before we go?
Man, shit. There's too many. No. Shout out to us, man, for being out here and doing things like I know sometimes life can be lifing, but man, it's always good to come on here and chop it up with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so and it's always good
barbecue going on right now?
Oh, actually, yeah. I mean, yeah, we got some ribs going on right now. Here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, you don't get this every other show like everybody else is inside of a office or or a room that's made for a podcast. Nah, we out here barbecuing with my people.
We out here.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're celebrating right now 2 racks of ribs. And some for everybody who's not everybody who's not familiar with it, we have turkey tail on the grill, which is probably the best thing you could ever grill. I'm telling you. But yeah, man, just shout out to us, shout out to everybody who's out here just pushing along. So
yeah,
always good to come on here, chop it up with you, man.
Appreciate everybody for taking the time, tapping in, listening, or watching on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. And thank you for taking the time. Much appreciated. Shout out to some of the other projects we're on. Polyticket Network, the Polyticket Podcast and Patreon with Sepha M and Marcus. Oh, hello, Marcus. And then each got shows with Nostalgia Type with Way Back Wednesday with Sepha M. And then we're also with Marcus on the Pacifica Movie Starter Kit. We just did, dang, what did we do?
The 1-4?
The 1-4 documentary.
Yep.
I was telling you, man. I was listening to that mess when I was shooting hoops. I was just like,
I'm telling you, man. Kids, you don't understand. I was coaching kids in Samoa at the time. They really thought that they was about to go and jump somebody listening to 1-4.
Man, yeah, and then Way Back Wednesday, the last episode, we did a movie draft of all the Rocks movies. So definitely go check those out.
Right. Sepha also just dropped a remix of $1 Million Baby, which is fire. Go check that out. I know he's gonna put it on the SoundCloud tonight, if I'm not mistaken, but he's got it up on his Twitter right now. He's got the clip on his Instagram. Go check that out, man. That's fire.
That beat is so freaking
catchy. Hell yeah.
Definitely a trending audio and yeah, good on Seth for hopping on that. On his SoundCloud, yeah. You said?
Yep.
Shout out to our sponsor, Livasa Island Apparel.
Always
online at www.livasaislandapparel.com, on Instagram at le_vasa, and in person at 4 Days of Aloha this July, right?
Yep, July.
Be mixing up these months. In Vancouver, Washington, Astor Short Park. Yeah, and that's what we got. That's our episode. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Forrest, thank you for being on and breaking down all the sports and the latest from Raiders camp, NBA playoffs, France invading New Caledonia. Yeah, shout out to the Canuck people and people trying to freaking live their lives. But yeah, thank you guys for tapping in. That's what we have this week. Catch you guys next time. Stay hydrated, stay blessed, stay balling.